I take it back. We're not using that.
Are we not using it, or are we not using it in a podcast way?
We're actually not using it.
We're actually not using it. Okay, I'll take off my podcast voice then.
Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Ali. You're looking at me impishly, I would say.
Oh, that's what we like to call ourselves, isn't it? The imps, the improvisers.
Welcome, by the way, to the Showstopper podcast.
Yes, our monthly chats to people from all over the comedy and improv and musical theatre industry.
This month we have with us a member of a musical theatre dynasty.
Yes, a long line of successful, incredible women, all from one family.
There are the Clintons, there are the Kennedys, and there are the Strallens.
Absolutely, and Zizi Strallen is our guest this month. What an interview. It was brilliant.
Yeah, she is terrific. She was Olivier nominated for her role as Mary Poppins in the musical Mary Poppins. She is about to do big 80th anniversary concert performance of Oklahoma playing the role Laurie, and she's an awesome human.
Yeah, she really is. I loved improvising with her, actually. She's so open and she has just a lovely, willing vibe.
You have an open, willing vibe too.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice to know.
You sounded surprised there. You just weren't expecting a compliment, or you don't think you're open and willing?
I just thought about the fact that I went into improvisation to try and control my life less at that point. So that's what I was thinking about. But here we go. It's another intro about my neuroses.
I don't think the listeners can get enough of our neuroses. That's the real magic of this podcast.
It is. And that's the internal processing of the performer, which is actually a really nice insight in Zizi's interview.
Yeah.
It's hearing about all of that stuff that she's having to do when she's in these amazingly technical shows, technical in terms of performance and the production element, and just slaying it and having to slay it every night because you're the leading lady.
Talking about having to slay it every night, we right now have just arrived in Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Festival, which is kicking off for the whole of this month in August.
Yep, the smell of Star of Pramen is in the air. And we are in sunny Edinburgh, and things are going pretty great.
Yeah, and the great thing is this year we're slightly earlier. We're on at 5:30 p.m. And you know what the most important thing that means is, Ali?
There isn't Star of Pramen in the air in our venue.
Well, there is that, but also it means the pizza place is still open after the show.
That's so exciting. Those pizzas, honestly, there's just nothing like them after a showstopper.
Absolutely. Get yourself down to the Pleasance Grand, have a pizza, and while you're at it, book a ticket to Showstopper the Improvised Musical on every night at 5:30, this Edinburgh Fringe.
We're only having one day off this year, and the rest of the time we'll be knocking brand new musicals out of the park.
Well, check back next month and say what the musicals were.
And what the day off was.
This conversation with Zizi Strallen, though, was recorded back in London just a week ago, the end of July. We recorded at the American Church in Tottenham Court Road. Duncan Walsh Atkins, Showstopper musical supervisor, was on keys. That's probably all of the terms and conditions.
Enjoy. She's amazing.
Welcome, Zizi Strallen.
Hello. So great to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We're thrilled. We're just so excited to chat about your amazing career, Zizi. It's been so exciting the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has actually. It really, really has. I've been very lucky. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also you're like super talented and stuff. So
yeah, you know, as they would say on Love Island, I've been grafting. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, grafting, but also just lots of. I mean, the reason why I say lucky is because I've worked with so many amazing people. So I think that's what it is, like creatives and cast. That's where I've been so lucky.
Yeah, that's so nice. And do you feel like you've sort of made some friends for life over these shows?
Oh my gosh, I've made, like, I can't even tell you, because I did my first West End job when I was 17. So that's where I felt like I made like my uni friends.
Yeah, right.
That's weird to say, but Dirty Dancing at the Aldwych in 2008 was my uni.
Yeah.
And a couple of other people in the cast actually were 17 and 18 at the time. So yeah, those friends I'm still friends with, and then also just the inspiring people I've worked with over the years. It's just incredible.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
This month you're at Drury Lane for the 80th anniversary concert performance of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
80 years.
Yeah.
80 years that show's been going.
Incredible.
And it's so ahead of its time. I was singing through the songs the other day. We had a sort of pre-music day. And I was singing Many a New Day, and I thought, God, I love this girl. Yeah. And she was written 80 years ago. You know, she's saying, why should a woman who's healthy and strong, you know, blah, blah, like a baby if her hand goes away? Like, it's, you know, Rodgers and Hammerstein were writing that stuff 80 years ago. I think that's why it's, you know, still being made now, because it's still so relevant.
That's such a great song as well. I think I saw your performance of it on the What's on Stage Instagram. Yeah. And it really is such a modern and progressive way for women to be portrayed, isn't it?
Completely. Yeah. And it's going to be beautiful because we've got a 30-piece orchestra.
Wow.
Which is always nice.
Yeah.
On that massive stage with Phil Dunster from Ted Lasso, which is just... I cannot wait to do it with him. Apparently he is, you know, a mixture of terrified and also very excited, which I think we all are, actually, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that every time I do anything, any show or audition. It's a real mixture of excitement and terrified, isn't it? But I get it with him because, you know, I think a lot of people will be thinking, oh gosh, you know, Curly, it's a big role and he's known from this TV show. But I'm really excited to do it with him. Apparently he sounds amazing. We haven't sung together yet. We just did the photo shoot, and he's so sweet. He's a really, really lovely man. Nothing like his character on Ted Lasso, which is mad. I mean, his character on Ted Lasso does end up being quite sweet, but he's a lot less Mancunian. I'm really excited.
That's very cool, isn't it? Getting people together and kind of throwing you in there to perform that concert version. That's quite unusual, isn't it? That you haven't been working together for ages. Yeah,
completely. I mean, I've been lucky enough to work with Jordan Shaw before. Mm-hmm. We did Follies together, and Tosh I've just known for years. Christina I don't know very well, but I've seen her do things. So I feel like we sort of all kind of know each other. It was very similar on Pippin as well.
Right.
It was like we sort of all just knew each other's work, maybe had worked with a couple of people. But yeah, you just sort of, you know what, these concerts are so lovely because they're a real chance where everyone just gets in the room and they're just like, right, we've got this amount of time, just do it, you know. And honestly, there's no faffing about. Everyone just like throws their hat in, and, you know, says, "What about this?" You know, and it's a real beautiful experience. Yeah, Pippin certainly was. It really, really was.
Is it Oklahoma a show that you've always loved?
100%. I've always loved it. We had the National Theatre production on video in my family home. Yes, with Hugh Jackman and Josephina Gabrielle. Yeah. And I watched it over and over and over until the tape wore out, which is obviously not a thing anymore. I had this really lovely moment when I was 21. I did Merrily We Roll Along at the Chocolate Factory. And Josephina Gabrielle had been my absolute idol growing up. You know, she was a ballet dancer, turned actress, singer, you know, everything that I always wanted to be because, you know, I love doing all disciplines. So then I was sitting opposite this woman who I'd idolised my whole life at 21, acting with her because we did the scene together as Gussie and Meg in Merrily, and I just like honestly I was sat in this read through it and I just felt these tears like coming down. It was like when I was like smiling, but I was like internally combusting. Like it was just so weird. It was a really surreal moment, but she lived up to every single expectation working with her, and that show was truly special in itself.
I mean, what a show!
I
Merrily
know.
Roll Along, just extraordinary.
I was talking about it this morning actually to someone, and we were joking, you know, like, oh, it's a shame nothing happened with that production. You know, it's like, it is so crazy like, what's happened with that production. I mean, it's been over a long period of time, because obviously we did it 10 years ago. But I remember at the time it was the most 5-star reviewed show that had ever been or something. And we had no idea it was going to be that. Like, obviously we know the music's amazing, but it absolutely flopped the first time on Broadway, didn't it? You know, so we were in the rehearsal room, freezing cold in the Chocolate Factory, just going, is this any good? I don't know. Do you think it's good? You know, and I you know, obviously I was just loving learning from Jenna Russell and all of those people. And then we transferred, and then it's got Daniel Radcliffe in it on Broadway, and I got asked to pay $300 to go and see it. I thought,
how the wheel turns.
You're right, actually. It's mad. I'm so proud of that production, though. It's amazing.
Have you had any more brushes with Sondheim in that way, Zizi, over the years?
Yeah. I then did Follies at the National Theatre the first time round, so Follies 1.0, because then there was Follies 2.0, so I didn't do the second time. And Stephen Sondheim was still alive. So he actually came to see Merrily We Roll Along, so I met him then. And then he came to see Follies, so I met him again there.
Wow. Did he do anything weird? Because we do collect weird Stephen Sondheim stories on the podcast.
No, I don't. I don't think I can add to that.
Fair enough.
He
we have to ask.
he sort of kept himself quite separate, and the notes were very much fed through Maria and fed through Dom. And I think he really, really trusts those directors. You know, he really trusts Maria, and he really trusted Dom. So, you know, it was very much kind of like from afar. But he did send us one of his telegrams. He always used to send a telegram that is, you know, pinned up on the board, so kind of outside the dressing room. So, yeah, I suppose I've had the famous Stephen Sondheim telegram twice.
Sondheim-gram.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did either of you see the Stephen Sondheim auction?
Oh, no.
So Sondheim's townhouse in New York was recently sold, including all of his little trinkets. And of course, he was a collector of, you know, incredible things.
Yeah.
I know someone who knows someone who bought Stephen Sondheim's tarot cards.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Amazing.
Cool. His thesaurus went for like something crazy, like $20,000.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if there were notes in the margin.
Well,
exactly. Yeah, or at least, you know, underlined words that he liked and things like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating to think of him being into tarot.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like in his spare time.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
that's
He's probably into everything. You know.
I mean, I think a collector of things.
Yes, a collector of things.
Curiosity.
Yeah, it's quite fun just to look through the auction website and like click through the lots. I mean, warning, you can sink hours into this.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Late at night, can't sleep. Let's go on the Stephen Sondheim auction.
Oh, here's a note he once wrote to James Lapine in 1993.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's very cool. It's interesting, isn't it, who people are when they're not doing the thing that they do. You know, what sort of rounds someone out, you know.
Yeah, well, a lot of times people are just very normal, aren't they?
For sure.
You know, almost boring.
Disappointingly so.
Yes, because everybody is just a normal person at the end of the day. And, you know, you're a genius one day, but then the next day you just want to sit and read the paper or go for a walk, you know, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Stephen Sondheim was always Stephen Sondheim.
Yes.
I don't feel like he could ever be normal.
Just walking around as a genius.
He played the piano a lot, you know. I think it was probably that, you know, where he would sort of like be up at 3 a.m. kind of just tinkering on the piano. I can imagine that would be him. But
I read an article about Here We Are, the posthumous Sondheim musical that was recently premiered in New York. And apparently when developing it, Sondheim and was having an argument with David Ives, the book writer, and used as his trump card to win the argument, which of us is an icon of the American musical theatre?
oh my God, I rate that so highly.
Like that's the Sondheim nuclear option.
Yeah. Oh,
I can only use this every now and again, but no.
And the
this
confidence
goes.
as well, just like to be able to say that about yourself, you know.
Cut to him doing tarot on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, so an icon.
Yeah,
still an icon.
Yeah, just playing it iconically.
Oh, I love that.
That's very cool. Zizi, what do you do to chill out? What's your like day off in the week like?
I live in a very beautiful area in southwest London, and I love just walking along the river
nice.
and listening to podcasts and things that make me laugh. I just love listening. You know, I'm listening to this podcast at the moment called Giggly Squad, which is these two girls in New York, and they're just so funny. So yeah, just walking along the river where I live, coffee with friends, just a simple person, really.
Lovely, yeah.
Just I'd love to say I paint or something like that, but I'm terrible. I tried painting in the pandemic, and honestly it was the worst thing anyone's ever done in their life. I thought, I'm artistic, you know, I can dance and sing, surely I can paint. No, absolutely not. No.
I had a similar experience recently with one of our showstoppers, Ruth. She's an amazing artistic person, isn't she? She does all this pottery and painting. And she very kindly gave me a morning doing some watercolour with her. And it was like a child had done
that's
it.
what mine was like. Somehow I managed to make watercolour thick. I thought, that is an achievement. Really
So
good.
bizarre. Yeah. So when you're resting, is like fitness part of what you do when you're resting?
Yeah.
I guess it must be to a certain degree.
Yeah, massively. I love spin. I love
do you?
spin classes.
That's your vibe. Okay,
yes,
cool.
I am a soul cycle girl.
Nice.
I really am. And there's actually quite a few sort of ex-performers that work at Soul Cycle.
Right.
So they love, welcoming you to the class. And I mean, you have to keep your fitness up. You do. Like, you really do. Especially, the show that I'm about to do, Cake. I mean, if I wasn't fit going into that show, I would die. Like, it is so physical, and it's only an hour and a half long straight through, but it's knackering. And also I'm singing, top belt all the way through. So I think you just got to always keep fit, and also because I am a dancer as well. It's always sort of been in me to stay fit. It's always been in my family. It's what makes you happy as well. It's endorphins, and so yeah, for sure, staying fit. But I like I said, I do actually just love walking these days. It's actually, as you get older, I'm getting older now. I'm an older lady. It's good just to not stress your body out. It's good to just go for a long walk, get your steps in. It's enough.
So nice. So can you tell us a bit about Cake? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah,
Marie Antoinette musical. So.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I've been with it since the beginning. I absolutely love it. It's based on this true story that happened, which was the scandal of the diamond necklace, or the affair of the diamond necklace. And it was essentially the last straw for the people of Paris with Marie Antoinette, because she was spending all their money, all the taxpayers' money, on her wigs and costumes and everything. But the thing that I love about her, which I've done so much research into her as a character, she did not know that she was doing anything wrong. She was just completely ignorant to the fact that she was taking all of these people's money, and she just thought, oh, how wonderful for you that I look like this and you get to enjoy it. Like, she just had no idea. And but that's what makes her such a brilliant character to play, because she can be so lovable, because she's also, on the one hand, doing these terrible things, and that her country is completely in despair and they're all starving on the streets, and she's like, oh my God, isn't everyone having such a lovely time? Like, just completely. And so I sort of play her as this sort of, lovely kind of girl from Chelsea who just is so entitled and just ignorant, but also very, very sweet and lovable. So it's really, really fun to play. And in the true story, this lady, Jean de Valois, she sort of saw this opportunity that this diamond necklace had been made and no one could claim, because the person that had been made for had died. So she had this plan that she would put the deposit down for the necklace with the Queen, with some money that she found, and put it on the Queen's name. And so the Queen was liable for this necklace, but the Queen didn't know anything about it. So then when the diamonds went missing, they basically said, right, you owe all this money, Queen Marie Antoinette, and this is the last straw. You basically spent all of the people's money on this millions and millions of pounds necklace. And she said, I don't know anything about it. But the last thing that she was found guilty of, and which took her down, she had no idea about. She was framed for.
Oh, no,
so it's very, very sad, really, because it's sort of, but she kind of got her comeuppance in a way, you know. But it's just kind of ironic that the last thing that broke the straw of the camel's back was that she had no idea about it, that she was framed by this clever woman. But they were supposedly, they had this friendship, and they supposedly knew each other and had this kind of relationship. So that's what our show is about, this kind of wrong thing, right thing relationship of these two women, and also commenting on the rich and the poor and the politics of our country today, and things like this. Very kind of relevant, with incredible music. The music is like a millennial's dream. It's like Craig David meets musical theatre meets UK garage. It's like, it's insane, and you'll want to go out and party afterwards.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And have you seen any of the design yet? Are the costumes modern, or how does it look?
They're sort of like if it was a catwalk at Paris Fashion Week now, but hinting at that day. You know what I mean? Like Marie Antoinette days.
Yeah.
So it's sort of now/then. if that
cool.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And we do have a catwalk, and it's very kind of high fashion.
It.
We've got some incredible people working on it. And we're just very, very lucky. I'm very excited about it.
It sounds really fun.
And it's
amazing.
an hour and a half straight through. So
Yeah.
just like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, you're out of there by 9 o'clock. You go to the bar.
Ready for the party.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We've been talking about that, about like sort of turning the other palace into a bit of a rave at the end of every show.
Yeah, great.
Nice.
Which I think will be needed. It'll be fun.
Such a great space as well, the
Yeah.
other palace, isn't it?
yeah,
For
it's
that sort of show
amazing.
as well, to really connect with the
Totally.
crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so intimate, but then you can sort of feel like it's kind of a big theatre at the same time.
For sure, yeah.
It's a great space.
Yeah, the energy is really catching in that room.
Yes, yeah.
From the
it
performers
is,
to
it
the
is.
audience, I think.
You're involved with this ultra contemporary show. You're doing Oklahoma, old classics. There's some Sondheim in there, Pippin.
Yeah.
Like you've really done the full sway. Is there like an area of musical theatre where your heart is, or do you just love the variety?
I do love the variety. I would say I am an old school girl at heart.
Right.
When I was singing the Oklahoma stuff the other day, I was like, oh, this is where I live.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is where I
Yeah.
live, you know? But it's, it's so good to push yourself. And
Yeah.
Cake has been a real, push yourself moment for me. I also had a moment like that last summer doing Rock Follies in Chichester. Because I did Follies with Dominic Cook, and then I did Rock Follies with Dominic Cook. And it actually involved quite a lot of the same people, like
wow.
Nigel Lilly and, and Dominic Cook. And people were like, is it just a rock version of Follies? But it was this 70s TV programme, about this girl band that were really progressive for the 70s.
Yeah.
And they spoke up about sexism and misogyny and in the music industry, and it was incredible. And I played this character called Q, who did soft porn to make money, and and she sort of was very kind of Patsy from Ab Fab, always smoking a cigarette and drinking a baby sham, and just sort of, and I loved it, but I had to sing in a really rocky way. And we had a lot of sessions on it. I was with Angela Hurst and Carly Borden, and they're exceptional musical theatre performers as well. But we were all very much in the same boat, where we were musical theatre singers being asked to sing like real kind of rock pop stuff, and from the 70s as well. So they wanted it rough.
Right.
They wanted it to be like, these girls really mean what they say, and they're not worried about it sounding perfect. And obviously it's hard, that, because you have in your head, and you're like, yeah, but people are going to come and watch this, you know, and they're going to be like, oh, Zizi sounds terrible, but actually you have to kind of get that out of your head and go, no, I'm playing a character, and I'm playing this girl from the 70s who's in a rock band, and it's not her main priority to sound perfect. Her main priority is to get the message across. So it was a real learning show for me, Rock Follies. I absolutely loved it, being back in Chichester. It's where I did my first job. I did Music Man when I was 17 in Chichester.
Wow.
And my sister Scarlett played the lead in it. So it was a beautiful entrance into the industry, working with my older sister.
Yeah, what was that like, working with Big Sister?
Oh, God, it's amazing. I idolise my sisters, I really do. And, if I'm being honest, when I was younger, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be my sisters, and to be as good as my sisters and to do what they're doing. And it took me a few years. It took me until I was about 25 to really understand that I was on my own journey and I was on my own path. And I'd got wild things in my head, like that my sisters had never not got a job that they went up for and things like that. I'd kind of told myself these myths. And then I would speak to my sisters when I got a bit older. I'm like, no, see, I don't get 9 out of 10 jobs that I go for. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I go for auditions like every week and I don't get any of them, and it's like, we're just like everyone else. And I think it was when I started to kind of talk myself out of that pressure, I then ended up doing better in my career, weirdly. That was the year I got Mary Poppins when I was 25, and things sort of took a turn for me. I mean, ironically, I was playing a role that my sister had played. So all my dreams are coming true. But yeah, I think that's what it happened, because my mindset shifted in a way.
You've been on quite a journey with Mary Poppins, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been half my life, really.
Yeah, quite amazing. I remember there was that brilliant video about what you were thinking during Practically Perfect.
Yeah,
and it was so massive, wasn't it? It was like viral, because it was so interesting just having that glimpse inside you when you're performing that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, gosh, that was the whole show, though. Like, that was my brain the entire show. I mean, times 10 practically perfect, because you're getting everything out of the bag, and you're getting, you know, like I said in that thing where like the kids like too close to you, or you're trying to sing the whole time, but you know, I had to do sleight of hand magic.
Yeah.
You know, I was essentially doing magic, but it was, you know, fantastic. And I remember, you know, because it is a lot of pressure being 25, playing a role like that, you know, with Cameron Mackintosh's, you know, I had to go to his house and audition for him and Stars and Drew, which was an amazing experience, but terrifying. You know, they sat me down and had a cup of tea with me, and then, oh, should we sing the songs? And I'm thinking, yes, please, can we just get the audition over with? You know, it's like, but they're so lovely, and they always have been so lovely to me. But I remember when we were in rehearsals the first time for Mary Poppins, I didn't have a break. I didn't take a single tea break or a lunch break, not one day, because you know, as Mary Poppins, you have to wear these white gloves that have got holes in them all the way through them. And you've got an umbrella, you've got a mirror compact that every time you close it will get stuck on your glove. You know, you got letters. You know, the amount of times I would like do a sort of flourish off as Mary Poppins, and my this hand would get stuck on the umbrella. You know, and then you're like, so like things like that. Or you can't, you know, if you're talking about being practically perfect, you can't drop something or something go wrong, you know, and you've got tape measures and, you know, like I said, magic. So I was learning the songs and the dancing and everything in the rehearsal time, and then during the break, just constantly practicing with my props with these gloves. You know, I wanted to get it right. It takes a lot to do a role like that. It really does. You know, and we have a sort of, I always message, you know, other Marys, you know, around the world. Like me and Stephanie have messaged before, you know, who has played in Australia and now going to do the UK tour, you know, because it's, and all the understudies as well. I always said to my covers, like, please come to me and get the tips and tricks, because I've done so much trial and error with this role, like, and I don't mind sharing. Like, please come to me and tell me like what I can do to help, you know. So many things. Like even putting the hat on the hat stand is tricky. Honestly, you wouldn't even think it watching it, but the little tiny nuances in that role are so hard. They really are.
And all the while, like, having to be so connected and so truthful.
Yes.
You know, you've just come up that chimney chute.
I know.
And then you have that amazing moment with Bert, which you have to be completely open for and ready for.
Totally. And I remember, you know, my first few shows that, you know, you sort of feel like a swan on the top and a duck underneath. And so I'm standing there, my first entrance, and the first thing, you know, you have to do is the letter, you know, rosy cheeks and fairly pretty, you know, and the letter, I'm standing there like composed, and the letter's going like this, you know, completely, you know, shaking. I'm like, stop it. You know, I'm like, the rest of my body is convincing the audience I'm fine, and there's papers, like, you know, and that used to happen all the time. You know, it's like, you hold a lot of responsibility with playing a role like Mary Poppins. She means a lot to everyone, you know. I have been on a bit of a journey with that show, for sure, on and off.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about Cats. You've been in Cats.
That's what I did in between the tour and town.
You were in the movie of Cats.
I was in the movie of Cats,
and
the hit movie musical.
The famous hit movie musical.
Smash hit movie musical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I looked up your character, because I'm not enough of a deep-cut Cats fan to know all of the individual cats. But I was astonished at how deep the bio is for your character, Tantamile. I just want to read some of this out to see if our listeners know any of this.
See how many people actually can spot my, you know, portrayal of this character in the film. I'm sure they will. My God.
It says here, Tantamile, for those who don't know, is the female half of the psychic twins, with the male half being Coricopat. Tantamile and her identical twin brother, Coricopat, are witches' cats, possessing psychic abilities, including clairvoyance and telepathy. They foretell the arrival of old Deuteronomy and often the first to sense changes in their environment, such as the approach of Grisabella or Macavity.
Yeah, so that's in the show, for sure.
Yeah.
But in the film, we still had Coricopat, but he wasn't a twin to Tantamile.
Oh,
so
I see.
I had all of those qualities, well, I was supposed to. But I didn't have a twin. It was just me. So I mean, if you want to look into it, like, there was a reason why they give, why I sing in the first number in the film, are you tense when you sense there's a storm in the air? I sense that. And then I sing sing the line about, can you ride on a broomstick to places far distant? Because I'm the witchy cat. You know what I mean? So that's why. And then also I was very much the soprano in that film. Out of all because a lot of them were dancers, sort of street dancers and hip hop dancers. So if you ever hear anyone singing high, it's me. It's
amazing.
Just me in that film. But it was wild shooting that film. It was wild.
Tell us more.
Well, it was 7 months for one. And when I first got there, I think I did about 2 days with Wayne McGregor, and then he left.
Right.
And then we didn't have a choreographer for a while, so we just sort of sat in a room and tried to learn the music. And like I say, with not many people that were singers. So then we had more and more people arrive every single day to play more characters because it was like, oh, they've brought a musical theatre person on now. Oh, there's more. More and more musical theatre people were turning up because they were realising how hard the score actually is to sing. It's really, really hard, and some of it's really high. It's a proper Andrew old school musical.
Yeah.
So it was like, and then obviously Tom Hooper wanted everyone to sing it live all the way through because we had these in-ears and...
Yeah.
So that was the start. And then we had Andy Blankenbuehler come on, who I absolutely love. Andy Blankenbroadway, I call him. And
he choreographed Hamilton.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yeah, choreographed Hamilton, one of the nicest men in show business. He's amazing. And so he came on and took a very different approach to Wayne McGregor would have done. Yeah. So it kind of shifted the whole thing into more of like a kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 step back kind of world. And then we sort of got into filming and then the other side of it was just the people that I got to work with. Like there was one day where we had these in-ears that we could always hear the A-lister on set all day long in our ears. Wow. And it was like a setting. So then when we were all singing, we could hear the piano and everything and hear ourselves. But other than that, you could hear Judy Dench or Rebel Wilson or James Corden or whatever, all day long. And hear the conversations they were having in the loo, everything. Wow. And we did try and say to the sound guy, like, this isn't okay.
Yeah.
But then some days it was so good because there was one day where a couple of days where we were filming Gus is the Cat with Sir Ian McKellen, which is just incredible to watch anyway. Yeah. And he... there's a lot of waiting around on set. You're waiting for the cameras to set up. Blah, blah. And Judy was on set as well that day. And Judy and Ian sat together all day whilst the cameras were being set up. And every single break, everyone was just sat in silence. Listening to their ears. Because it was the best podcast you've ever heard in your life. The best theatre podcast. Like, you heard about every single, RSC director from, 1970 to now. Like, oh, do you remember when such and such fell over? How funny was that? I said, get up, you idiot. And it was like Laurence Olivier. It was insane to listen to.
Amazing.
And then it was all like, have you got a new boyfriend? Yeah, have I? It was like, it was honestly, so we were doing these takes and then everyone would just be like listening to that. It was amazing that couple of days. And then, and Judy Dench is just a legend. I love her so much. And we started doing this fake smoking thing on set because, things would get quite tense on that set. And it was sort of like a meditation, calm yourself down, like, this fake smoking thing. And Judy loved it. And, even with Judy's voice, she's never smoked a cigarette in her life, which is mad. Wow. She's got this really kind of raspy, beautiful voice, but it's just natural. It's not from smoking. So she was like, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I don't know how to do it, but she loved this fake smoking thing. And then it got to the point where we got so naughty with her, where she would push it and see how close you could get to action before you put your cigarette away. People would do this fake coughing, pushing the smoke away, and then be like, camera 1, camera 2, C, B, whatever, and then they'd be like, action. Putting this cigarette away. As a cat, it got so naughty. Yeah. And I remember one day she was really close to Jennifer Hudson. And Jenna, we were doing that bit where old Deuteronomy says, okay, you are the chosen one.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting for them to set up the camera, and Jennifer Hudson and Judy Dench were so close to each other. And just before action, Judy's like smoking this fake cigarette, and Jennifer Hudson's looking at her like, have you lost the plot? He's like, you're not smoking, because Jennifer Hudson was only on set for 10 days or whatever, so she wasn't in on the long-running jokes, And so she's watching Judy Dench smoke this fake cigarette, and then it's like, action, and Judy like drops the cigarette, puts it out with her foot, like does a whole thing. I just remember seeing Jennifer Hudson's face being like, where am I and what is going on? But it was like moments like that I will remember forever. I really, really will.
They're so great, those in jokes, those games that you create with companies, aren't they? Sometimes in a long run that can like really keep you going, that sort of thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So fun.
A long shoot for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We had some alternate personalities on the last panto we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when a few of us showstoppers were in Newbury panto, and we did some improvisation in it, and it was really fun. And we were Helen Mirren and Judy Dench and Ian McKellen, the three of us. And we just used to spend all the breaks, like you say, as them, and it just kept us going.
Oh my God.
Us going. It was really
They're
fun.
so naughty,
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh my gosh, they're like the ultimate naughty people.
I love it when you see these videos of them conversing, the ladies, the dames.
Oh, those
dames.
She's like, what did she say about like, it's something like, it was kind of like a Sondheim kind of thing that he said, it's like, she said something about, but you didn't get the role I did or something.
So great.
Judy takes all the parts.
Yeah, that was it.
And Judy's that's very rude. Maggie, it's like, no, it's true,
Judy.
It's true, though. It's true, Judy.
So great. They're just wonderful, aren't they?
It's true though. Yeah.
I also saw there was a great video of Ian McKellen and Judy Dench during the press tour for Cats, where again they were being incredibly naughty.
Yeah.
Judy Dench said something like, "We did cat school for movement. Did you go to cat school, Ian?" And he just says, "No, I told them I'd not be attending that."
Which is a lie, because
really?
I did one class. He did come to one class.
Really?
I think maybe after this class he said, I won't be attending
Right.
that. But I remember one of the boys, Jai, he said, I've just spent the day pretending to eat out of Ian McKellen's Louboutin shoe. And I thought, I think you've peaked. I think that's it.
Doesn't get better than that.
No, I think you should give up now.
I think it's time for a game, Ali.
Oh, yes, let's.
Ooh.
Zizi, you and Andrew are going to play against each other here for telling me certain things about musical theatre, beginning with certain letters. So it's sort of a quick fire game.
Oh, God.
Quick fire.
Okay.
Do we need a buzzer?
Yeah, you could have a buzzer. Would you like to design your own buzzer?
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew, what's your buzzer going to be?
Rumba.
Very nice, spicy.
I'll be...
Woo! Lovely. Okay, great. This is very Marie Antoinette.
I
Actually.
know. You know what? I did think that, yeah.
Great. Okay, so here's your first question. A character from a musical beginning with S. Woo! Yes.
I just did a buzzer without thinking.
I like it. I like
now
it.
I will say no.
Rumba.
Okay, Andrew?
Sarah Brown from Guys and Dolls.
Oh, very
so
nice.
good.
Very nice. There's your token. Second question. A musical with magic beginning with F.
A musical with magic beginning with F. With magic. Oh, Rumba.
Yes, Andrew.
Frozen.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Of course.
There you go. Third question. Very good, Andrew.
Oh, two down.
Two down
I'm
here.
on fire
I knew
today.
I would be rubbish at this.
I like your technique of buzzing before you know.
I know. I thought it might come to me, but that didn't work. So different tactic.
Question 3. An antagonist beginning with J. Ooh. Yes.
Does Jekyll work?
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely
Great.
Hyde's antagonist,
Thank
isn't he?
you.
Great.
I
Question
was
5.
just about to say Jafar, but no.
Well done. Also Javert, yeah.
Javert. Oh, yeah,
Very
really
I
obvious.
should have known that one.
Question 5. A song from a musical about love beginning with I. Woo. Yes, please.
I'm going to cheat here because I heard it on your podcast before, but If I Loved You.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
There you go. Great.
Very honest.
A musical with songs set outdoors beginning with O.
Song set outdoors. And the musical.
Zizi Strallen.
Oh, What a Lovely War.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
well
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, storming into the lead. How many more questions have we got?
We've got 4 to go, I think.
Okay, it's 3-2.
Really good form so far, both of you. A musical famous for special effects beginning with B.
Rumba.
Yes, Andrew.
Back to the Future.
Oh, really good one.
Really good. Special effects galore. A musical with lots of dancing, beginning with A.
Rumba.
Oh, it's joy. I think I'm just because Zizi's the guest.
Yeah.
Zizi.
A chorus line.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Classic.
What was going to be yours?
I was going to say Anything Goes.
Ah, really good. Yeah.
Show, isn't it? A musical with kids, beginning with M.
Woo. Matilda.
Oh, very good. I can't believe you didn't go for Mary Poppins.
I know, I didn't go for obvious.
It was very good.
How many more questions?
We've got one left. How many have you got each?
Ooh, 1,
got
2,
3.
3, 4, 5.
Oh.
Great. All right. Well,
Okay.
here we go.
Is this one worth double?
Yeah. No, it's not, Andrew. No, Zizi's clearly going to be the winner here.
All right. Zizi's gonna win. Well, there's a lot of tension left in this game.
A musical famous for costume or hairstyling, beginning with H. Andrew.
Hairspray.
Very good.
Yes.
Excellent. So, Zizi, clearly the winner there.
Yeah, well, just by 1.
5 to 4.
Yes.
I think we both put in a creditable performance.
Yeah,
if
it
I
could
can
have
say
been
that.
a draw, actually.
Creditable performance.
Very good. A small
Creditable.
Wimbledon round of applause.
It's a draw, except you won.
Very nice.
Oh, I love
Excellent.
it.
Well, good game all round, as Brucey
Yes.
would say.
Yeah, good game.
I think we should make up a song. Well, how does that make you feel?
I'm silently terrified. I'm not so silently now. Yeah, I always think I love improvising comedy, like comedy sketches, but singing, improvising, I don't know what kind of tangent I'm going to go off on. So good
Great.
luck, studio.
What about the old stars? You know, the...
Yeah, old musical theatre stars.
Yeah.
You wanna come to Broadway or the glittering West End?
You wanna see the road they've trod for you.
Oh, they'll tell you some stories, they'll tell you over and over again.
And you'll wanna be them, it's true.
Oh, the stars of Broadway, the stars of the West End, they'll tell you their life stories till they're blue.
Oh, the stars of old Broadway, the stars of the West End, we all wanna get back their magic, it's true.
Oh, yes, they'll tell you about their friends. They'll tell you about when Stephen Sondheim sent them a telegram.
Or that time when Larry fell off the stage in disgrace, and everybody laughed in his face. Oh, the stars of old Broadway, the stars of the West End, they shone a path for us to see.
Oh, they really, really did.
The stars of old Broadway, the stars of the West End.
They'll tell you their stories, they'll tell you about their lives.
They'll tell you everything, whether you ask them to or not.
They love their stories of the Broadway and West End.
The Broadway. You can see Zizi in Oklahoma at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane on...
The 19th and 20th of August. Come and see Cake at the Other Palace. I mean, 2 very different shows, Oklahoma and Cake, but you're going to have a party at both. So, yeah, please come to both.
Would you sing us the credits for us?
Sure. The Showstopper podcast is hosted by Ellie James and Andrew Pugsley. This month's guest was me, Zizi Strallen, and Duncan Walsh Atkins was on keys. It was mixed and edited by Andrew Pugsley. Production support from Susanna Rosenthal, Jenny, Amy, Kayleen Kine, and Ellie Grice for some something for the weekend. Find us all on the social channels and our website, www.showstopperthemusical.com.